It is never safe for farms with young men living at home. Since I no longer have my son, I have to find ways of doing everything myself. There are also the disruptions caused by military conflict here.
I have no idea what will happen next year. Farming on my own is not just tiring, it's completely exhausting.
Rakhine State is known for its war and vulnerability to cyclones and the impacts of climate change. But less well known are the women farmers left behind when Rakhine men leave to fight, emigrate for work, or hide from military conscription. Women are increasingly heading farming households as rice production plummets and the threat of famine grows. Hello and welcome to Doh Athan, a podcast about human rights stories from Myanmar. It's brought to you by Fundación Hirondelle. This episode is produced by a freelancer. Some names may have been changed to protect contributors. It's still dawn, but light has already started entering Doh Athan's flimsy bamboo shack. It was only supposed to be temporary. It's been more than 2 years since Cyclone Mocha smashed her home, and she has still not finished building a new one. As soon as it's light enough to see, Doh Athan starts preparing for work in the fields, a 20-minute walk from her house. When the sun rises, the sound of rice planting song spreads across the fields as the farmers begin their workday. Despite the cheerful singing, the farms here in Miao district of northern Rakhine State are not as peaceful as they once were. Cyclone Mocha brought massive destruction to the lives of residents. Homes, schools, and fields have still not recovered. The sea surge salinated the soil, and rice fields still can't be replanted. Doh Athan has been cultivating her 4 acres for the past 5 years. She used to work with her son, but has to do it all by herself now. Her son is in hiding from conscription by the Myanmar military. Even though the Arakan army now controls almost all of Rakhine State, her son fled for Yangon when the region was still ruled by the junta.
It is never safe for farms with young men living at home. Since I no longer have my son, I have to find ways of doing everything myself. There are also the disruptions caused by military conflict here. I can't hire male workers because they too are hiding from conscription. The rising costs of rent and fertilizer means that I'm losing money from my own farm.
When the economy started to collapse, residents naturally focused on survival. The most painful change for Doh Athan was taking her 2 daughters out of school.
When Mocha hit, my daughters were in the 7th and 11th grades. I couldn't afford the school fees. It was heartbreaking to stop my girls' education at this age.
Women are increasingly heading households across Rakhine State, but not out of choice. Many of their men are hiding from conscription or fighting in the Myanmar military or the AA. In Pao To Township, Doh Athan has been farming for about 30 years.
I am leading the farm myself. One of my sons is a school teacher, but he doesn't get a salary. He doesn't get paid anything. He works at the school opened by the AA. He wants to educate our people.
As a single mother, Doh Athan is proud to have raised her son to complete his high school education. She has managed to farm her 5 acres herself, but the years since the coup have been the hardest, due to the war in Mocha. Cyclones are an accepted part of life for Rakhine residents. But Doh Athan says Mocha brought a totality of destruction unseen since Cyclone Nargis in 2008.
My house was being built when the storm hit. It had no walls or roof. I was hiding under the house and didn't know if I would live or die. Not even one grain of rice was saved. Nothing survived. Everything was washed away. My sons and their wives have since moved out of the village. I'm the only one still here.
In Minbia Township, Doh Athan is a farm laborer. She lives from the wages earned working the land of others. When landowners were impacted by the cyclone, war, and inflation, her wages went down as well. After her house was destroyed by Mocha, her family constructed a hastily built temporary shelter. Her son and his pregnant wife are still living in it.
My house was in ruins, and there was nothing left to repair. I'm too poor to rebuild. I only earn 800 chwat per day. In the past, I used to plant rice during the rainy season, and in the summer, I worked at the shrimp hatchery. My hands hurt from digging, and I can't even eat rice with them anymore. When I come home after work, my hands hurt so much, I have to put them over the fire with sesame oil. I cry from the pain. I have less work since Mocha came. They don't hire me anymore. This year, there's not much I can do.
With the renewed fighting in Rakhine and the junta's restrictions on trade and transport, commodity prices have nearly tripled. The impact of Mocha, combined with the high price of fertilizers, has made rice cultivation a losing business for many in Rakhine. According to the local farmers' union, the Danyawadi Farmers Development Association, the area of cultivated land in Rakhine will shrink by half this year. Doh Athan was not alone in her decision not to farm.
There is no greater suffering than this. Not a single day is spent in peace. There's no day for rest. I can only rest after the farming is done. Now the seeds have dried out and can't be planted. I have no idea what will happen next year. Farming on my own is not just tiring, it's completely exhausting.
Mauntain La, the secretary of the Farmers Union, says that the reduced cultivation and lower rice yields are a dangerous combination.
The total area planted has decreased due to the impact of Mocha, economic pressures, and the lack of farm labor. But even in areas where rice is cultivated, the yields are low because the farming methods are not consistent or well developed. Both farmers and officials need to be aware of this situation.
The United Nations Development Program estimates that more than 2 million people in Rakhine State could face famine this year. The UN warns that without urgent action, 95% of the population will revert to subsistence survival mode, further reducing the already critically low food supply. The women farmers of Rakhine have little say over whether their state becomes what the UN warns might be a fully isolated zone of deep human suffering. They hope the AA will focus less on war and more on the daily needs of Rakhine farmers. Doh Ma wants her fields to grow green again and her scattered family to come back together.
I want to be able to work my own farm again as much as I can and have a happy family. I want my son to come back when the country is peaceful.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Doh Athan. We would welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fundación Hirondelle with the help of our donors. You can listen to our podcasts via the Doh Athan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Telegram, and Instagram. Please tune in again for our next episode.